EDES101 Assessment Task 1 for Nicholas McGrath. My formal education journey started in 2011 when I was 4 years old and I was enrolled in Caringbah Public School to start kindergarten. This is the place where I was first introduced to educators in a formal role and setting. And over the next 7 years, I was subjected and shown the role and effect that an educator can have on someone's life, and how the relationships that are formed between an educator and a student can affect them. And then in 2018, I started my secondary education career in Woolooware High School when I began Year 7. And this is when I started to actively notice the effects that an educator can have on a person. This is when the relationships that I made with my teacher became more evident and clear, and the role that they had in my life was much stronger. During Year 11 and 12 at high school, I chose to study geography and ancient history to complete my HSC. And while studying these subjects, the idea of me actually being a teacher and teaching these subjects as a profession was planted. And the more I study these subjects, the more I started to enjoy them, and I could see that myself in an educator role for these subjects. And halfway through Year 11, I started a casual job as a swimming instructor. And as part of this job, I taught from primary school age students all the way up to high school age students. And I found that I much more enjoyed teaching the high school students and the relationships that I made there, and the role that I had in even a small part of their education I found very rewarding. And then that, in combination with my enjoyment of studying geography and ancient history at high school, is what helped me decide, or made me decide, that I was to become a secondary teacher and teach those two subjects. And through the studying of this unit, EDES101, I have studied the work of philosophers Nell Noddings and Gert Biester, and it has become evident how their work has influenced the educators that I had while going through school. Engage with the idea of the soul, not the brain, in order to account for interiority and intersubjectivity. This quote from Biester shows how relationships should be formed between a teacher and a student, and these relationships should be formed so a teacher can get to know their student, because no two students are the same, no two learners learn in the same capacity. So a teacher must understand their students so they can apply their learning, that a student will not learn the same to the person sitting next to them, so a teacher must adapt so all students can learn efficiently. There is a need to focus on existence, not essence, in order to give place to the singularity of the human subject. This furthers Biester's idea that no students are the same, and if they are all treated as such, no student will truly be able to be transformed by education. And he also says how education does have that transformative quality and is able to change a student, how a student that starts at the start of the year with a certain educator will not be the same at the end if the educator is efficient and does focus on the existence of the child. Happiness should be an aim of education, and a good education should contribute significantly to personal and collective happiness. This quote from Nell Noddings shows how the overarching aim of education should be happiness, and how the role of an educator should be not to provide like a laughing happiness to a child, but a satisfaction and a fulfillment to what they are learning.